Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties. Today's tutorial we are going to make these messy brushstroke designs. I've just got a few up here. I'm sure you've seen them on Etsy and Pinterest. There are several different ways that you can achieve this look. I'm going to go over all of that with you and then you can decide which way you like best. I will say you do have to play with this. It's not something that's going to look fabulous the first time you do it. So just keep that in mind and let's jump right in. So to get these different brush strokes, we are actually going to use brushstroke SVG files. I have this little file here. There's a brush stroke right there. You just can't see it. Let me bring it over. If I put it on the white, you can see it. You can use any brushstroke SVG you want. We're going to use this as a template basically to create each of these individual strokes within whatever pattern or whatever shape we're wanting to put them in. You can get your brushstroke SVGs from anywhere. If you hop over to Creative Fabrica, I typed in brushstroke SVG. You will see all of these come up. Two key factors. Yes, they have to be an SVG file. And two, you don't want a ton of curve on your file. Let me see. Okay. So like these files look good. They have that like messy, transparent look in them. But if you've got too much curve in your file, in your brushstroke SVG file, you will not be able to make a straight line with it. Anything you do will have that curve. So just keep that in mind. You want to look for some, like this is okay. You can make a straight line with that. You know, a little tiny bit of curve like this would be okay as well. You just don't want something that has a big curve in it like this. Even with a straight line, we can still curve it. We just can't uncurve it if it starts curved. So go pick yourself some brushstroke SVGs, then hop over into Inkscape and just import the file. You'll come to File, Import, go find your SVG file and open it up and put it into Inkscape. Okay, the two I'm going to do with you today, we're going to do the basketball and the flower. So these two I am not going to go over with you. I have a tutorial that shows you how to wrap that text, and I do have a tutorial that shows you how to get this glitter border. If you are interested in either one of those, I will link to both of those tutorials, but that is not what we're going to be doing today. So for today, we will work with the basketball and the flower. Now you do not have to have a pre-made design. I find that if you've got something in your mind that you want to do, it's easier to go find one that's already out there, like the shape of the basketball. I mean, obviously that was a circle, but I did really like the lines, and you can see I incorporated the lines into the design. Or the flower petals here. I mean, my flower is not this flower, but I'm using these base ones as a template just to kind of, it's like coloring, you know, you'll kind of color inside of it with your brush strokes. If you want to go find files, they don't have to be SVGs. They can be anything you want. You can even bring in like a picture from Google just as something to use as a base while you're painting in your brush strokes. Okay, let's start with this basketball. So I'm going to move these other things out of the way. So here I have this fun basketball. I am actually going to take the black part out of it and just work with the orange ball. So I'm going to ungroup this file. It is an SVG file, so I can ungroup it. If you did not bring in SVG files, you will not be able to ungroup anything. And all of that was separated out, so I'm just going to group it back together. I'm going to hit Control G. Or you could right click and you've got your group and ungroup that way as well. So with it all grouped together, it's not going to move around while I'm filling it up with brush strokes. And this I'm just going to pop off to the side. I will use it later. Okay, here are the brush strokes. So you just pick any of them that you want. I'm just going to start with this guy here. This file is all grouped together. I need to ungroup it, so I'm going to right click, ungroup. Okay. I'm actually going to move all this off to the side as well. So for the basketball, we're going to be making circular brush strokes. We are going to be using our pen tool and our pencil tool. This is the updated version of Inkscape. This might be called a Bezier tool if you have the older version, but the symbol will look like this for your pen tool, and it will look like a little pencil for your pencil tool. We're going to work primarily with these two functions. And what we're going to do is tell Inkscape to use this as a template to draw lines. Right now, if I take this pen tool and I click here and I bring that down and I click there and then I release it by clicking my selector tool, I just have a nice straight line here. I want it to take on the appearance of this brush stroke. So what I want to do is click on my little brush stroke, right click, and copy it to my clipboard. Okay, now I'm going to come back to my pen tool, and up here it's wanting to know the shape that I want my pen to use. Well, right now it has none, and you can see there's some different shapes we can use. We're going to choose from clipboard. We just copied this shape to our clipboard, right? So if I choose from clipboard, and now I come and do the exact same thing, line, release it, it has the shape of this brush stroke. Now, depending on what you previously did in Inkscape, you might have something kind of funky over here. This has a stroke but no fill. So I'm just going to come fix that. I'm going to click the fill box, click the first box here to turn the fill on, and then I don't want a stroke, so I'm going to click stroke up here and then click the X to turn the stroke off. And now this has taken on that. Okay, there are other things that I can do with it. I've got it selected here. I can change its color. I can click my nodes tool, and now there's a bunch of different stuff up here. This node that doesn't have one underneath it. You see how these two are one right on top of each other, but this one is just by itself. It doesn't have one underneath it. If I use this one and drag, I can make that stroke wider or more narrow. When we click these, we can then edit the path. You can kind of click somewhere in the middle and you will get these handles on your nodes. And then you can really just come in and do anything you want with it. So I've curved it. I've made it thicker. Let's see. If I kind of do this guy here, all these different ways, and then release that, there's another stroke. That is grouped to something. What is that grouped to? I don't know. Anyway, if I click my nodes tool here, this one right here is going to let me make it skinnier or wider, and then these nodes will allow me to move things around. Sometimes it's hard to find that middle section that really lets you get into your nodes. Oops. So you can see I'm sort of turning that into the top of a heart, but you can really do anything you want with those once you get your stroke drawn. Okay, so I'm going to delete all this. And now let's use the pencil tool. So the same thing. I have a pencil tool here. It was set to my clipboard, but I'm just going to hit it to none. So if I take my pencil and I draw with my computer, I've got this funky thing going on here. It has a fill. Let me come turn that fill off. And let's turn the stroke on. And you can see the line that I just drew. Okay, well, let's make it the shape of our brush stroke. So you have to click out. Whenever you're in a tool, you have to click the selector tool to get out of that tool before you can move on to the next thing. So now I can select this, right click, copy to my clipboard. Now I'll come back into my pencil, and instead of having it shape of none, we're going to do from clipboard. And now I do the same thing. I draw this wavy curvy line, and there I have that same shape. And again, I can turn the fill on and the stroke off, and I have the type of brush stroke that I'm looking for. You can see I can do circles with this. I can do actual shapes with it. And I'm just using my mouse to draw. If you have a touch screen, you know, I can come in here and I can write my name with that brush stroke. So you can do a lot of different things with just the pencil and the pen tools. Okay, let me get all of this deleted. And I will show you how we're going to start filling this shape. Okay, so we're still going to be working with this brush stroke. And for the basketball, it's got curved lines. For the flower that we did, let me kind of pull it back over here, make it a little bit bigger. I used a mixture of curved and straight lines, but the basketball is pretty much just curved lines. So here's my stroke, and you can pick several different ones. You can do some strokes with this look to them. You can do some with this look. You know, you can do 5 or 6 different ones. It is up to you. For this tutorial, I'm just going to stick with the one that I have, and I'm going to just use it over and over again, but you can switch these out as often as you want. I've got my pencil tool, so I'm going to freehand these shapes. So now I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to draw that. And this, that is too far out. That. The opacity is pulled down on these. Let me pull that back up. Let me delete both of those. We'll do that again now that I've pulled my opacity back up. Okay, so here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and maybe a good little swirl in the middle. Okay, now we're just going to change the colors of all this stuff. You can pick whatever colors you want. I'm going to grab the basketball that I already had and just kind of start going off of these colors. So let's see, this guy, I'm going to use my color picker and make him that orange. And then this one, color picker and make him that orange. Let's see, this one, we will do this orange. You just go through here and get your colors whatever you want them to be. Okay, now I need to stack some more in on top of those, so I'll just get my pencil again and I'll draw a few more. Let's change the color because I can't even see that. Let's make it the light orange. Okay, I don't know what happened to that stroke. I don't like it, so I'm just going to delete and do it. What is going on with my tool? Oh, it's because I still have my dropper tool going on. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Pencil tool from clipboard. There we go. Okay. And let's make it pink. Yeah. Okay. Pencil tool. We'll get one more of these in here and we'll make this one like that light orangey kind of color. Okay. Play around with yours. Obviously you're going to want to make it look better than what I've got here. But once you've got your base colors done, if I take this basketball, I'm going to move it to the top so it's on top of all of that. You can see how that will take on the shape of the basketball. But the last thing we need to do is add these little white ones in. Now, you do want those to be much thinner than your other brush strokes. You can, I'm going to switch to, no, I'm going to keep the pencil tool. You can keep using the same brush that you have. Come in and turn it white. Get your nodes tool here and just really shrink it down. Or, let me delete that. You can take a brush like this, stretch it out, shrink it down, and use it as the template for your tool over here. Okay, so now we're going to use this one as the template. So we will right click and copy it so that it goes to our clipboard. Then come back over here to your pencil tool, and we've still got from clipboard selected. So we'll just draw some of these white lines. Now it's white because that was the last color I used. And they're thinner now, but we can still make them even thinner. I've got my nodes tool selected, and I can make that thinner. And that one. And whoop, that one's not wanting to get thinner. I don't know what I'll do with that. Give me a minute. That one. This I'm just going to delete. I said delete, sir. There we go. And I'll just draw another one on here. There we go. Okay. And so then you'll get those swirls in there. For the rest of this design, I just grabbed a coquette bow SVG to stick on there. And then for the swirls, I did use this, or for the basketball look there, but I didn't want it to be so thick. This is just an option if you're using an SVG file and it's something that you want to work with, but you just don't like the way it looks. You can alter this. Because this is an SVG file, I can click into its nodes and get all those nodes exposed. And I can make that stroke smaller. I'm going to hit Control on my keyboard, hold it down, and then click the left parenthesis, which is the one that's right above the number 9 key. And it'll just get smaller and smaller. And I'm just doing that until it gets to my desired skinniness. Let me see how that looks. So that's pretty good. Let me make it a little bit larger to encompass more of the ball here. So there you go. That's just one thing that you can do for that type of look. So this has we used the pencil tool and we drew curved lines with a stroke, and then we added in some whites. You would throw on your coquette bow, and that one is done. I'm going to group all that together. Control G will group it, and let's move it out of the way. Okay, let's work on this flower. So for this one, I did a couple other things here. I went ahead and used the base just as like a main color. So let me change it to like this purpley color that I actually had back here. Okay. And then I used the pencil tool to make the center part of my flower. So pencil tool. And I just came in here and I drew that guy. Okay, let's turn it yellow. Awesome. Get the nodes tool. I'm going to increase my screen size so I can see the node I need. That is not the one I need. There we go. That was too skinny. So I just made it a little bit bigger. And that's how we got the swirl. That's what we've been doing this whole time. But now let's use the Bezier or the pen tool. We're going to use that to finish out the rest of this design. I'm going to copy this one back to my clipboard. And you know what? Let's use this one. Copy. Okay. Move these other guys out of the way. Make this a little bit bigger and pull that guy up just so that I can use his colors. Okay. I'm going to grab the Bezier tool, or the pen tool, and this is the one where we just go click, click, release the tool, and we have a line drawn. It is whatever color I chose last time. I'm going to come and change it to this blue color. Use my drop tool, select the blue. Awesome. Gonna hit my my nodes tool here, and I'm just going to bend this. If you click in the middle, there is a line that runs right through the middle. It's super faint, but if you can grab that line, you can just click your mouse and drag, and this will take on the shape of whatever you're dragging it towards. That's a little thick for my liking. Okay, now if you want to do anything other than change the shape of this, you have to click out. I would like to move it, and then I'm going to click back into my node tool, and come here. Finding that line is not the easiest. Since I had already moved it once, I was able to click the node and get the handles. Okay, let's make another one. Release it, bend it. There we go. And let's turn this one orange. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on all the rest of the leaves. I'll probably speed this up while I do that though. Okay, so I drew all of the lines in here. Let's go ahead and make them the colors that we want them to be. So this one can be a light pink, and this one can be a dark pink. Okay, so we've changed all their colors. Now it's time to bend them into the shape of the flower. So this guy's selected. Just grab my nodes tool, and we'll just start bending these out. You can see when I first move over it, it's going to highlight. Let me get it. There's that blue line. Did y'all see that pop up in the middle? And try to get it one more time. There it is. Oh, it goes away real quick. But if you just grab that line, come on, now it's not letting me. Oh, it's because I hadn't selected the stroke. If you can grab that line, then you can move the stroke. That, I don't know what that seems to be connected to, but anyway. Okay, this one, actually wanted to move that over a little bit and then kind of maybe curve it in some. I'm going to move that whole stroke now. Okay, so you'd play with those and get them positioned. Now we're going to come in and draw the curves on the bottom. For the curve, I'm going to come back to the pencil tool and just draw myself some curves. All right, let's change the colors of these. This guy, we're going to make him like a pink. And then this one, we'll make him an orange. And then a different color pink. And orange. And pink. So you can pick whatever colors you want to get in here and do this. Now we're going to fill up the middle of these. You can do that with 1 stroke, 2 strokes, round strokes, curved strokes, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to do some thicker strokes down the middle. So I got my pen tool. Okay, I'm going to turn it like a darker orange. Now I'm going to use my nodes tool to edit it. I want it to be a lot thicker than it already is. Very good. And now I want it to go back behind the other strokes I've already created. So I'm going to get my selector tool here And I'm just going to start moving it down until it's where I feel like it should be. And that's probably pretty good. I'll move it over a little bit, and it has filled up the middle of that petal. Now, since I don't need much variation on that, I'm just going to right click, duplicate, and I'm going to put that on every petal. And if you need to tweak it some, you absolutely can. Let me get these in every petal. That one's going to be too big. To rotate it, when you click it once, you get straight handles. If you click it again, you get rotate handles. Okay, let's move that down. That's good. Just put it wherever you think it looks good. Okay. I would probably come back and get a little bit more in here, but I do have that purple just from the flower pattern that we had, so that's helping a little. You would kind of edit. Let me just edit this one. You know, you can curve these to match the bottom of your flower better if you want. This is the part where I said this takes some playing with. You're not going to just instantly understand the perfect curve that this makes. You're going to want to play with it, and you're going to want to play with these nodes until you are very comfortable clicking and dragging and moving and rotating and doing all of that to get everything looking the way you want. Okay, so let's get these white strokes in here now. So let's go back to that skinny one that we made. Get our selector tool, copy it, and we'll use our pencil tool this time. And again, that needs to be white. It needs to be much skinnier than that. Do I not have the right brush in here? If you don't think it's giving you the right brush, and that was not the right brush, you can clear this out. If for some reason it's not giving you the right brush, just come to your tool, and for the shape, just come hit none. Then copy whatever you want again. This is the one we want. Right click, copy it to the clipboard. Get your pencil tool and then change it back to from clipboard, and it should give you the correct shape if for some reason it didn't do it the first time. So now there we go. Okay. We can get these white guys on here. And you just put them wherever you want. If they're a little too white, you can bring down the opacity. So they're kind of taking on whatever color is underneath. The thing I like about the pencil tool is you don't have to click out of it every time. When you're using the pen tool, you have to complete the path by clicking out of it and then into the white space and then back into the pen tool. But when you're using the pencil, you can just go over and over and over again without having to change anything. Okay, so there's the white strokes. And then to finish this one off, and this again is just preference on how you want to do your design, but for this one I drew a little outline all around it. So to do that, come back over here to your pen tool, and this time we want no shape to it. Get rid of the stroke that we were using, get rid of that brush stroke. Click into no shape and go ahead and keep it on the first, just a regular Bezier path selection. And then you're just going to trace out your petals. This does not have to be perfect. I'm just clicking all around kind of the shape of the petal. Now, because of the settings that we had, its opacity is lowered. Let me bring that back up. But also, I don't want it to be solid. I just want that outline. So I'm going to come to the fill, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to come to the stroke, turn it on. Now I have that outline, but it's really ugly, right? No worries. Click your nodes tool. It's going to highlight all of your little nodes for you. Then I want you to drag a box around all of them so that they all turn blue. With them all blue, we're going to take them from squared to rounded. That is this guy right here. Make selected nodes smooth. Okay, now watch. I just click off of it. I've got a petal. Okay? We're going to do this over and over again, so I'm probably going to speed it up. Okay, so there is all of that. Those are in there. Select my nodes tool. I don't want all of those nodes selected. Never mind. Just kidding. Okay, select this guy, hold shift. Get all of these outlines that we just made. Now click my nodes tool. We'll drag a box around all of those nodes so they all turn blue. Smooth them all out. And we have more of these petal shapes. If you're not liking something, just click into it. Like I don't want that to overlap. Get your node. And I'm just going to delete that node. And then with this handle, I can bring that in. Okay, this one. I'm going to bring that in. Okay. I'm going to bring this whole thing down. I don't want these overlapping. I'm going to bring that in. This one, let's see, let's bring that down. So you can just go in and play with them however you want. Let me get the one at the very top. Now if you're making circles, like I know these were ovals, but you can also, if you're making full-on circles, you can switch to this guy, which is a spiropath, and it will actually take you in a circle. And that made your circle for you. All right, so play around with those different techniques, different brush strokes. Different brushstroke SVG files will give you different results. Some will have transparency to them. Some will have like distressed elements to them. And just get a basic shape to start with, a heart, a circle, something just really basic to start with, and start playing around with filling them up with your different brush strokes. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you. We'll see you next time.